Hey guys, I hope you're having an absolutely incredible day. Today I built out a custom research assistant, so I really think this is going to help content creators because in order to make high quality posts, especially if you're a beginner, you need to know what your competition is doing and the reason behind what they are doing, the way that it works, and we'll run through this live right now so you can see exactly what happens is you'll enter in an account. So I found this guy. He has 103,000 followers on Instagram. I think he has really great content, and today I wanted to be able to scrape his profile and analyze why his posts go viral time and time again, because obviously he's figured out the formula, and I want to learn more about that formula so I can replicate it myself and deploy it to my audience. And what you need to realize is that different content is going to work based on the format, so you really want to have the format down for that platform. And so the way it works is you'll paste in his account name, you'll choose the platform that you want, so in this case it's Instagram, and then you can either scrape his posts or his stories being reels. And so we'll choose reels. We can specify the amount that we want to scrape. So for today, just to demonstrate, we'll do only one, and once I hit ready to go, it's going to fire the automations that we are going to build out from scratch today, right? So it triggers this automation, and then you can see that it watches this webhook response. It triggers this actor to go and scrape that data for us, and then on our platform, which is broken down by Instagram, if we open that up in a second, this should populate and we'll be able to see the caption, the hashtags, the like count on that post, the comment count on that post, the summary of that post, the analysis behind why that post is viral, as well as the thumbnail for that video and the video itself. And this analysis is being generated based on Alex Hermosi's viral content formula. So he breaks it down, the content unit, into hook, retain, reward. We created a custom assistant GPT that is going to analyze that based on this post. So now if we expand that, right now you see it's just completed. You'll see the caption, why you should be stealing content. We have the hashtags broken down right here, the amount of likes, the comment count, the summary of the post, right? So this post advises beginner content creators to find successful content in their niche and adapt the core ideas to create their own unique versions, emphasizing that this approach leverages proven concepts to increase their chance of going viral. The overall purpose is to offer a strategy for boosting view counts quickly by remixing rather than outright copying popular content. And so that's exactly what we're trying to learn by building out this research assistant. And then we have the analysis, which breaks down the hook, the retention techniques, as well as the reward techniques. And then we can click on the thumbnail, we can see the thumbnail that he used, as well as the video URL, which will bring us to the video where we could watch the full Instagram clip. I'm super excited to be sharing this with you. We're going to be building it out today together from scratch, and this can be done for any platform. Today we'll be building Instagram, but this could be done for TikTok, this could be done for LinkedIn, for YouTube, for Twitter, so you can really understand why the content on each platform resonates differently. With that being said, let's jump right in. So today we're going to be setting up this tool using Apify. So first you're going to have to create an account, then you're going to get to here, step 2, and you would just choose API, no code integration, and hit continue. Now, as you can tell, there are a lot of really great actors. So an actor is just a scraper. So we have a Google Maps extractor, we got TikTok data extractor, Instagram, right, Twitter, LinkedIn, Reddit, all of these really great ones. So we're going to be setting up a few of these today. We'll start off with Instagram. So you see here the price is $2.30 per 1,000 results. So if you come down here into settings, you'll have the API and integrations page, and right here you can see your personal API token as well as your user ID. So now that we have that, we'll log into make. We'll start a new make scenario. We'll go create a new scenario, and it's going to be a Airtable watch responses. We're going to create a webhook. We'll just call it research. You can name it whatever you want, and then we'll hop into Airtable, create a new base. So, and you can just choose start from scratch, and we'll just change this to an auto number. So right down here, auto number, we'll set this to ID, we'll set this to account, and we'll just choose single line text. We'll save that, and we'll set this to single line text as well. We'll name this the platform, we'll save that, and we can keep the status for right now. The idea is you're going to come in here, you're going to put in the account that you're interested in scraping, and then you'll choose the platform, and we'll add in another field, to run it. So we'll add in a checkbox and we'll call this ready to go. So when you're ready to go, you'll hit this, it'll run this automation and, you know, ideally output data on that account. So I'm just gonna rename this grid to research. So there's this one guy that I'd like to scrape. His name's Only Zeta, makes some really good content. So we're going to be using him as the example. So let's say we would want to copy his username. We would put it in the account. We would need the platform. So for this, we'll actually switch it to a single select. And we're just going to add in different options that we can scrape. So let's do Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Let save. So then you'd come in here, you'd choose Instagram as the platform and hit ready to go. So now we're going to come in here into our automations. We're going to add a trigger, and it's going to be when a record matches conditions. We're going to choose our table, and we're going to add a condition where ready to go is checked. We can choose a record. So we will rename this automation ready to go, and we'll come back into our data. We'll flip this on, and now if we come back into our automation and we choose the record, it should be there. So that works perfectly. You'll see that it picked up the record properly. All right, so right in here, you can see that when a record matches this condition, we're going to run a script, and we will need to add an input variable. So that input variable is going to be record ID, and the value, you just come here and you can choose the Airtable record ID, and we will finish editing. The only thing that we need to do is we need to paste in our webhook that we created. So we'll replace that with the webhook that we've created, and the action will be Insta, or how about research, and we'll finish editing. And now we can come into here, we'll hit OK, we'll run this once, and we'll watch for responses, and we'll test the action, and it should trigger properly. And then here you'll see that we got that output, which is the record ID and the action. And so now we're going to put in a router, and we're going to need a filter. So we're going to add in a label, which is going to be called Instagram research, and the condition is going to be the action. And once again, we're going to write in research, just as we had said it in the previous step, and we'll hit OK. So now what's going to happen is, based on the platform that we select, when we hit ready to go, it's going to come down this specific path and know that, hey, I should be doing Instagram research, and it's going to fire the Apify Instagram scraper. Alright guys, so you're going to come into here, you're going to click on API, and then you'll see API endpoints. So we want to grab this one, which is going to run that at specific actor. So we can just copy that, and now we're going to head into our make automation, right? And you could create a connection. So to do that, you would copy your personal API token in your account settings under APIs and integrations. And now, because we've already gone to our Instagram scraper, you would just come in here and choose the Instagram scraper. And then the input JSON is going to be, if we come back into the Instagram scraper, you can click on JSON, and there you'll have the HTTP, or there you have the JSON request content that we'll be able to share. And we can copy that and head back into our Airtable. We can paste that in, and I like usually for it to look a little nicer than that, so I always run it through ChatGPT first, just because it makes editing so much easier. We can copy that, and we'll come back in here and paste it, and you'll see that it outputs in a much nicer format. And now here's what we're going to do. So we're going to obviously have to input dynamic variables into this in order to get the pages that we want scraped and added back into our Airtable research table, right? So hit OK, we'll hit save for now. And I forgot one other step that we're going to have to add first, which is going to be another Airtable, which is going to be getting that record, because we're going to need to grab the information of the username of the person that we're interested in. So you're going to add a get a record module, and you're going to choose your base, choose your table, and the record ID is going to be the record ID from step 1, and we'll hit OK. Now we can link these back up, and make sure when you link them to correct this. So we'll delete all that. We don't need the filter there anymore, but we do need the filter on the first step. Then the condition is going to be the action, and the text is going to be equal to Instagram research. Hit OK, and now we'll unlink this for a second, and we'll run it again just so we get our data populated into here. And if you notice too, if we come back into Apify, there's a few other settings that we can choose from, right? So if we go back into here, we can see it can scrape the posts, it can scrape profile mentions, or the details of a profile, and it can also scrape reels. So going to come back into our Airtable, into our research, and we're going to add a few extra columns that will allow us more customization when it comes time to running these research scraping tasks. So we'll add in what do you want to scrape, and we can once again choose a single select, and we come in here, we have scrape posts, and this is how it outputs as posts. And if we change this to profile reels, this becomes stories. So we'll hop in here, we'll write posts, and then we'll write stories, and we'll create that field. Now another interesting thing that you will see too is the result limit. So in here you can see the max number of items to scrape. So this is the amount of items or the amount of reels that it's going to scrape. So we also want to be able to specify how many we want to grab. So for the result limit, right, you see it's a number. So then we'll come back into our Airtable, we'll add in how many, and this is just going to be a number, and we'll drag that up next to it. So now if we select stories and how many we want to do, let's set that to 10. Now it's going to choose the platform, or choose the account, the platform, what we want to scrape, and how many of them we want to scrape, and then it's going to run that. So now if we hop back into our automations and we run this once and we test this action, we'll see in a second that this will run successfully. And now here we should have got all of that data output. So we got the platform, the ID, the account, what we want to scrape and how many. And so now if we connect that to our Apify actor, we should be able to come into here. We can replace all of those variables with dynamic ones. So the result limit becomes that, the result type becomes do you want to scrape, and we can leave the rest as is. We can hit OK. So now it's about to scrape this guy's page. It's going to return 10 results, and now we want to grab those results and re-upload the data that it gets back into our Airtable base with these scraped results. So I'm going to create a section. We're going to call this section, and what we're going to do is we're going to create that account under this specific section, so that when we want to look at only that person, we can click on him and we'll be able to see all of his posts, as well as the data on his posts and what made them viral versus not. So we're going to run this once again. We'll hop back into our Airtable, into our automations, and we'll test the action. You'll see it's a success. Went through, and we should have a successful output here. And so if we come back into our Apify dashboard, right, and we go to the Instagram scraper, we click on runs, we can see that it succeeded with 10 results in the dataset. But these are all the posts. If I were to click on one of them, you would see that it does successfully grab it. It grabs a bunch of other stuff, right? It grabs his hashtags, it grabs the caption for it, so we could have caption ideas, and a lot of other really great things. It grabs the latest comments. You can see everyone commenting the word 24 because that's what he's running right now for his promotion. We have the video URL, right? So it's, now that we have this data, how do we take all of that information and pass it back like this to our Airtable base update? So alright guys, so I ended up doing this in order to get it to run properly, because what was happening was we were running the actor, so we were running that Instagram, and what was happening was this would run, but it wouldn't have enough time to actually complete. Because if you hop into our console, you can see, if we just come back to our actor and we look at our runs, you can see the average duration is anywhere from 22 seconds all the way up to a minute. And so we need this to run. And then what I did is, so you run an actor, right? You would choose your actor from here. You'll have that input JSON that we got from our Instagram scraper, where click on the JSON here and it gives you that output, and we paste that in here. We hit OK, and now we went ahead, we created a second make scenario. So go ahead, create a second make scenario, and what we're setting up here is an instant trigger. So what's happening meaning is, once again, this is connected to Apify, right? We have a webhook URL that's available here, and what we're saying is we're going to, and this one is connected to Instagram as well. So just to show you what that looks like, if I open this here, you can choose your actor. So I chose this Instagram scraper as the actor. I named my webhook Instagram scraper, and I hit save. And so now it's linked to this Instagram scraper, and it's going to wait, and it's waiting until that has finished processing. So once this run has completed and it hits 22 seconds or however long it takes it, it's going to trigger this webhook, and this webhook's going to fire. And so now what's going to happen is it's going to grab that data set, right? So we're going to need to grab the default dataset ID right here. You can keep the rest the same, right? And then we're going to convert that file, right? Because we're going to want to take that MP4 format, put it into MP3, just because the file size is much more condensed. And then we'll pass that to Whisper, and Whisper is just going to create a transcription, and it's going to be connected to that Cloud Convert file, and we'll hit OK. So if you don't know, Cloud Convert allows you to convert something from one file type to another, right? And they have an API. They allow 25 free credits a day. So in another one of my videos, I go over how you can make this connection, but it's super simple, and just follow the steps. If you go to Cloud Convert, search Cloud Convert API, and you'll have an API within seconds, right? So what we're going to do is going to come into our research content creator scenario, and we're just going to change this from how many. We're going to set the result right now to 1. And the reason for this is because we just want to make sure that it actually works before we increase the result limit. So we'll hit OK, we'll hit save. And now we can come back into our scenario, right? Our Instagram response for content creator scenario. And what we're going to do is we're just going to unlink this, and we'll run this once. So now this is waiting, right? And we'll run this once. So now this is waiting. And then we'll come back into our automation and we'll fire this once. So we'll test that action. And now you should see, okay, test is in progress. Now we have this actor that's running. If we come into our Instagram scraper, you can see it's not finished. And so this scenario will continue to run. And then once this has finished and has completed, we'll come into here and you'll see that this fires and we get our data set of items. And then from there, we'll make the required connections in Cloud Convert and creating that transcription that we need to use AI to understand why this is a viral post. There you go. So you can see right here, we got this successful output. So now we can connect that back to Cloud Convert, and we can go into here, right? So the URL in this case is going to be the video URL. So keep the video URL, right? That's the file that we need. And we're going from MP4 to MP3 format, and we can name the file name pretty much anything you want. I'm going to keep it as the ID. Export options, we'll click yes for download a file. We'll hit OK. And now all you need to do is select Cloud Convert in here, and we should be able to run this module only. We can grab the video URL from the previous step. So to do that, you click here, you go download output bundles, and we'll just look for that video URL right there. Now we can select it all, long URL, we'll select it all. We'll come into our video URL, paste that in, and then we'll need the ID, and the ID from that should be right here in the bundle output. Paste that in, and we hit OK. We have an invalid file name. So the error that I encountered was simply because the file name didn't have .mp4 at the end. So we need to choose a file name, including the extension for the output file. And since there was nothing with MP4 in it, as you can see there, we had to specify .mp4 in order to get this to trigger properly. And so after, you can see that we did actually get the proper text output in that bundle. And this is the transcription from that video. So we can go ahead, we can rename this transcription. We'll change that from MP4 to MP3. So now that we have this transcription, the next thing I want to do is a few things, right? I want a description of what the post is, something that I can read quickly and gain information on. If this is the kind of content I want to be creating to represent my brand in the first place, or if it's something to pass on to. The next thing I want is the reasoning behind why this post is viral, right? What makes it so that a lot of people are engaging with it. And so to do that, we're going to create a completion. This one is going to be called the summary, right? We'll choose GPT-4o, and we'll add the message where you are the role of the user, and the max tokens we will set to 0, and the message content for that. All right, so the summary one is going to be provide me a brief summary on the key content and messages of this social media post. Focus on the main topic, any significant details, and the overall purpose or intent behind the post. And then here is the post, and we're linking it to that transcription that we just created. We'll hit OK. So now we have our summary. And so for this one, we're going to come in here and we're going to click on message an assistant instead. All right. And then from there, we can choose our own assistant. Now in our community, I went ahead and read the entirety of $100 Million Leads so that you don't have to. And $100 Million Leads by Alex Hormozi. And I broke down the entire book, and he has a portion on the content unit, which is based of 3 components, which is hook, retain, and reward, right? And that's really how you want to attract your audience. So we're going to use his framework, how he's managed to scale his content, and we're going to take that and we're going to create a custom GPT with it. So now we've added this content unit virality API assistant. So the way that I did that is I went into the assistants, I pasted in these instructions, which is from the meta prompt that I generated using the hook, retain, reward framework that Alex Hormozi details in his book. I uploaded the content unit framework to the files. I enabled file search and I hit create and turned down the temperature. Next, I went back into our scenario, found the assistant, so the content unit master that we just created, and I said for the message, using only your knowledge base, explain why this post is viral using the content unit. Here is the post. I hit OK, and then I went back into my Airtable, added 2 fields, so summary and analysis. And so now if we come into our Airtable, we're going to create that record now. So base is going to be the research base with that table, and then the account name is going to be the owner user account. So that is going to be the only Zeta for the username. The platform is going to be Instagram. And then we should also see, if we hit refresh, 2 new fields that we just created, which is going to be summary, which will be the result from the summary, and the analysis, which is going to be the results from the content unit custom assistant GPT that we've created. We'll hit OK, we'll save it. And now if we run all of this, we should see these 2 fields get populated. Now, I want to create another view just for Instagram posts. So in order to do that, you're going to hide some fields. We'll hide the summary, we'll hide the analysis because we're not interested in seeing them on this page. Then we'll hop over to our Instagram view, create another grid. We'll call this grid Instagram, and we'll drag that into the Instagram subfolders. Within Instagram, we're going to hide fields again. So we'll hide what you want to scrape, how many you want to scrape, ready to go, and the status. And instead, we'll just have the account. We don't need the platform either because we know it's Instagram based on that. And we'll have the summary and analysis. We'll group this by the account. So go ahead, choose group by account. You'll see that it is grouped right here now by that account. And then we should see the summary and the analysis populate here. We're also going to need a few more fields here, right? Because we want to get additional information besides just this. Look at the, once again, look what's passed in our data set. We have the caption. Well, we really want the caption, right? So we're going to need to create a caption. We want the hashtags. We'll add caption, make that a long text. We'll add the hashtags, make that a long text. We also want the like count, right? And so for that, we can choose a number. We can choose 0 for the decimal places. We'll go ahead, we'll duplicate that field. We'll rename it to comment count, save that as well. We have the like count, we have the comment count, we have the caption, we have the hashtags. Well, I'd also like to be able to click and see the video as well as the thumbnail that he is using. We'll grab the display URL and the video URL. We'll add those in as well. So video, come down here, we'll choose URL, and we'll add in the thumbnail, which is going to be a URL as well. Create both of those fields. That is pretty much everything that we need for this to be successful. Now we can go ahead, we'll hide the account field because we can see what account it is right here. It'll be ordered by ID. So now we just have to create those connections. We'll hit refresh and we'll be able to find those newly added fields. So the caption, we come into our get data set items, grab that caption, the hashtags, grab all of them. The like count, search like. We'll grab the likes count right here. Comments count, we'll search comments, grab the comments count right there, and then the thumbnail is going to be the display URL, the video is going to be the video URL. Have the account set to the owner username, the rest we can leave blank. We'll hit OK and we'll save. Now we'll turn this on, come back to our Airtable, we'll turn this on as well. Now if we come to our automation, delete all these rows for now, uncheck ready to go, we'll hop into automations, rename this ready to go Instagram. We're going to update one more thing and it's going to be when ready to go is checked, and platform is, and now it's specifically for Instagram. Go ahead, it's saved. You don't have to choose a record right now. Instead, we are going to turn this automation on. Now, if we come in here and we check ready to go, it should fire this. So you can see that it's successfully ran that. If we come into our Instagram, we can see that it's starting the crawler, currently scraping that page for us. You'll see now that it's finished completed. We come into here, you should see that this actor is watching for that to get triggered. And there you have it. It successfully grabbed that video, right? We look at the hook, what the main topic is, what the appeal behind it is. Headlines, we want the caption. We got the elements, the different elements, right? We have the style of the post, right? The format. We have the reason why it's effective and retention techniques that he's using. And we also have the reward or the value proposition at the end with a comprehensive analysis at the end as well. Lastly, all of that is pushed to our Airtable. And if we hop in right here, go to our Instagram, click on it, you can see that it was successful, right? You should be stealing content. Got the different hashtags right here: content strategy, content marketing, content ideas, the likes, the comments, the summary of the post, as well as the analysis on why it thinks it's viral. You can click to see the thumbnail, as well as click on the video, why that video is viral. That is just for Instagram. You could very easily do the exact same thing for TikTok. You can do the exact same thing for YouTube. You can do the exact same thing for literally any platform that you want. And now you can look at all your top content creators. You can analyze why certain posts are viral and why others aren't. That's pretty much. So now, just like that, we are able to get all pertinent information grouped by account across whatever social media platform that we want. We can easily analyze, if we were to pull in 100 posts, which ones are the most viral, right? Just by sorting them. You can even set certain filters so that only certain ones get filtered above a certain value, that we're only looking at his top performing posts. So I think that this will provide immense value to you as a content creator. I hope that you use this tool and you start to study your competition so that you can start creating better content. If you did get value out of this, I would really appreciate if you drop to subscribe. It's free and it really helps support the channel and helps me grow, and it helps me to continue to create great content for you guys. If you have ideas for future videos and what you would like to see, just drop them in the comments and I'll be happy to try and build out as many as possible. You have an incredible day and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.